News from the world of Valheim, let's go! We have a new dev blog out today for the month of November, and we have some good sneak peeks in here. They start with a bit of an apology about the seasonal items for the Jack-o'-turnip and Pointy Hat not coming out until after Halloween, and they're going to automate the system in the future, so that doesn't happen with seasonal content again. That'll probably be very useful for them once the game reaches 1.0 too. You want that automated. We start off with a look at a new armor set that is finalized for the Ashlands. They talk about how fire is not only for destruction but also rebirth and new beginnings. This set is named after one of the first two humans in Norse mythology, Embla. The story goes that these two humans were created by the gods out of two trees that were near the seaside. We've seen some of the trees near the seaside in the Ashlands, as well as throughout the Ashlands. And my guess is that we'll be getting a resource from these trees. Whether that'll be used to help in making this armor or other things, we'll see. They mentioned that fortress time will still be a central part of the Ashlands. And now we get to see a more updated look of one of the eponymous fortresses. This is a cool looking fortress, no doubt. This stone is definitely something different. Is this going to be something that we're going to have as a resource? We'll see in the other biomes we do. We have pink glowing braziers all over the top. Everybody cross your fingers. We're going to get that. They have been giving us multicolored braziers recently, so I'm hopeful. Of course, one of the things that pops out at you are the spikes everywhere. At first glance, I thought that those were a bunch of ballistas up there, but they are not. They are definitely pointy spikes. And that to me seems like it would definitely come from the trees. They're even all along the side of the building as well. Surely we're going to get that as a defense. And then look at this gate. I mean, not only this cool design around it, but also the spikes all over the door. It looks like it's made out of metal. Maybe it's a drawbridge that goes down, but it also has a seam going up the middle right here. So it could be a giant gate that opens outward as well. They remind us that it will not just be the wall on its own that we have to get past. And we've seen some glimpses of some of the creatures that are going to be coming at us. Between the Charred, the Fallen Valkyrie, the Morgan, and who knows what else, it's going to be a challenge to get into these things, even with our battering rams and catapults. And once you're inside, you may think, whew, I'm safe. But I heard a dev tell a little story the other day about being in that situation during some testing, and then all of a sudden, wham, a Morgan came and knocked through a wall and threw him through another wall. So anyone who was wondering, are these going to be a bunch of little mobs or one big one? Yeah, it's the big one. How many we'll get at one time, of course, we don't know yet. But I don't want to be surrounded by these guys. The devs have repeatedly hinted that the Morgan is terrifying and hard. They mentioned that the weapons they showed us last time didn't look terribly magical, and that was correct. So they show us a bit more finished look of the swords with some effects on them now. Particularly the lightning sword, which is one of 3 effects that have been hinted at. How we get the effect is still unknown, and they're not telling us. Is it something like the runes that you use to enchant weapons in Return to Moria? Is it something to do with this mystery device? We don't know yet, but at least we do know that yes, they are still coming in magical form. What else will be coming in the future? Of course, everyone wants to know when Ashlands is going to be getting here. And honestly, I was thinking before that it would get here before the end of the year, but now I'm not really so sure about that. There still seems to be quite a bit of stuff that needs to be done. Also, one of the devs mentioned recently that there's currently 4 weapons that are kind of ready to go for the Ashlands, but they do plan on adding more weapons as well. And so if that's not even been decided on, which they said they weren't entirely sure what that was going to be, then, you know, it takes time to do the concept, to do the art, to do everything. And so, I don't know. I don't see it coming out before the end of the year. I see Ashlands coming out at least in the spring. You know, at least after the first, possibly on into the spring. Which will be interesting timing and how they do time that, because you know, in the early spring we also have Enshrouded coming out, and we have Nightingale coming out. So we'll have to check on the timing of that. They were also asked about what's going to be next. Is it going to be Deep North? Is it going to be the ocean biome? And it's not 100% decided how they're going to do that next yet, but some of the thinking was around not having a focus just on the ocean biome, because chances are that's not going to end up being like a full biome in the way that we think of it now. You know, it's possible still that it could, but probably it's not going to be. And so it's probably going to be incorporated with something into the Deep North. And of course, I did mention that along the way, they continue trying to add things to previous biomes and mechanics as well. The build of the month is a Gurkus with this gorgeous mountains castle. Be sure to subscribe for all things Valheim. Until next time, happy gaming!